Hello everyone, my name is Joe Garza and I'm proud to serve as the Superintendent of Schools with the School District of New Berlin. It's been our honor to be able to host Veterans Day celebrations for our local veterans for the last decade or so. Unfortunately, given the circumstances that we're all dealing with the COVID pandemic, it doesn't allow us to meet with you in person as we typically would. Our typical celebration would include welcoming all veterans that were able to join us, surrounded by hundreds of students, staff. We would honor you with a color guard. We would honor you with our musical ensembles, and we'd honor you with various speeches, and so on. But just like the pandemic has done for us in the School District of New Berlin, we've had to make sacrifices. And those sacrifices have included us not being able to hold school in session sometimes. And that left some of our students not knowing what would come next. Eventually that turned into the rest of the school year. Our kids sacrificed their time. They sacrificed what for our seniors at that time were some very last critical moments that they would normally have enjoyed. Things like prom, things like graduation, and so on. And just like this event today, we had to honor them in different ways. And that's what we're here to do with you today. We are doing this virtual celebration on your behalf. And just like I mentioned, those of us that had to sacrifice various different things as a result of the pandemic, most certainly those of you that were in the military sacrificed and served for what some may call a lifestyle, a career, and so on. And so it's with that tradition at heart that we want to take this opportunity to celebrate you and honor you in a different way, but know that just because it's different doesn't mean it makes it any less. So in our program today, we will be honoring you in so many ways that we've done before and will continue to do moving forward as best that we can. We'll be reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. You'll be hearing the Star-Spangled Banner. You'll also be hearing from our middle school students and sharing their thoughts and reflections on what Veterans Day means to them. You'll also be hearing from some of our graduates that chose the military path, along with some of our local veterans that wanted to share their insights and their backgrounds. We thank you, all of you veterans, on Veterans Day for your service and your commitment to the United States of America. Thank you very much.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think what was worth fighting for is being able to choose my educational path and being able to fight for freedom.
Something worth fighting for is the country that your parents and your grandparents have all put their lives into working.
I think life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are worth fighting for, because these were things promised to us since the beginning of this nation.
Because without freedom, we would not have many of the privileges that we have today.
I think a person who chooses to enlist in the military is selfless, loyal, and brave because they're sacrificing so much.
They have to be brave and courageous, obviously, and also selfless because they have to make a lot of sacrifices.
Some sacrifices that they had to make were to give up some part of their future to enlist in the military, and things such as your early 20s to as long as you serve.
Well, they had to adjust to military life. They had to leave their family.
For those who served in wartime, they had to make sacrifices like their own life, and also they don't know that what's going to happen, so they also have to sacrifice leaving their family, and the thought of that just kind of changes everything.
think you could say you would be giving your life up for a sacrifice because you're going into service.
Probably the most challenging was the time away from my family. I was younger back then, like 19, 20, 21, so it's hard to be away from home at that age.
Family and friends, that really was the only thing I missed when I had left. When I was 18 years old, lived with my parents all growing up. I went from their house to the MEP Center downtown, onto an airplane and off to Texas, and that was difficult.
Being at 100% go every day, you know, it's a hard mindset to keep up. It's tiring, you know, and just being able to push through sometimes. And then on those holidays, you know, not every holiday you get to come home and say hi to family. At first that was very difficult as well, but you kind of just grow, like I said, you kind of grow into yourself and become a little bit more of an adult.
I was with Admiral Halsey's 3rd and 5th Fleet, and we were engaged in the worst typhoon in naval history. And he directed us into this typhoon, figuring that we could ride it out. A lot of ships were damaged during the typhoon. This is off the Philippines. A lot of carriers had their flight decks damaged. And we lost 3 destroyers. Our ship was bobbing so bad that I'd say 90% of our guys aboard ship were seasick.
For the Marine Corps, for me, it was like being the best of the best and having that, being held to a different standard attitude that I kind of grew up with and everything like that.
I chose the Army because we are an Army family. My brother went to the Army, my older brother, the only brother I have, he was in the Army. My father was in the Army. He was stationed in Japan. He was also in Korea.
You know, my father's father was a P-52 pilot, you know, in the World War. My grandfather, my mom's side, was a chief steward in the Merchant Marines. And then my uncle on my dad's side was also, you know, a scout sniper for the Marine Corps, so.
My favorite thing out of the military was meeting my husband. We were both at Fort Hood at the same time, and we ended up going to Iraq together. And here we are, married 8 years now, have 3 beautiful children.
I think my military experiences have made me a better person, a better father, a better spouse.
Actually, how close you can get to somebody that you never had associated with before. One watching each other's back. Camaraderie.
I've been in the civilian world now for a long time, and you do develop relationships. You meet good people, you make friends, but you don't make the friends you make when you're serving in close quarters or when you're around folks. I went to a reunion 2 years ago, and I saw some folks I hadn't seen in 30 years, and it was like yesterday.
You don't stay friends with all of them, but some of them, it's just lifelong friendships that you always stay in touch with them, and you know, they're spread out over the country. But I think the most rewarding thing that I ever got out of the military was over in Afghanistan. We went out on a mission, later part of it. I was working with mentoring the Afghan National Police, and we went out on a mission. What we're supposed to do is basically there was a girls' school that the Taliban had come in, said the girls would no longer go to school. So that mission to go 7 kilometers actually took us 8 days, taking contact every day. We got down there, and the most rewarding thing is we're all standing around. All the fathers from the village were there, and all the village elders. Colonel Zelmai said, it's safe, send your daughters back to school. It was the hardest 8 days I ever spent, but that ending part was the most rewarding thing I ever had in the service. It was a great experience.
It means giving of yourself to allow other people and yourself to enjoy what we have in this country, the freedom of speech, religion, and to be yourself and stand up for what you believe in and being able to speak your mind.
Lead the life I choose to lead without any telling me how to live it. You know, we've got it pretty good here, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Freedom, to me, means the small things. You don't know what you have till you don't have it.
it kind of goes hand in hand with like independence and just to be able to be our own person and be who we want to be.
If given the chance to do it over again, I would, in a heartbeat.
Yes, I would most definitely serve again. And I hope my children go into the service.
But yeah, I'd serve again, probably in the submarine force.
Would I go back and serve in the Army again? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was probably the greatest, time of my life.
I got my uniform ready to go.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I decided to enter the military honestly because I didn't have it all figured out when I was leaving high school, and I think that's a lot of people's story when that option comes around for them, because the military, like regardless of what you decide to do, it gives you the tools and the skill set to be successful. It's like discipline, being organized, knowing how to work with people, and also personally, people are my calling and my passion, and it took me a while to realize that, but I've been able to find that here. So being able to become an officer and lead is a huge opportunity that I know is going to be super fulfilling for me, and I've found that since coming here. But originally it was just like, I don't know what I want to do, but I know I want to like be a hard worker and go do great things, so I just took a chance, and it's been really good for me.
I decided to enter the military because I wanted to be a part of something bigger than just myself.
Ever since I was a young boy, I've always wanted to join the military. My grandpa, my great-grandpa, my dad, they were all in the military.
My primary job assignment is to diagnose and repair support equipment for different kinds of aircraft. I work on air conditioners, heaters, generators.
My primary job is signal and like communications, working to make sure that the people downrange can hear us and we can hear them, just so everything is going smoothly and everything's safe. The best part about being in the Army is like making new friends. Like I've became really close with some people. It's really hard though, because you become close with people so fast in a short period of time, and then you're gone and you're somewhere else and you're not with them. But it's always good to keep in touch with those people.
The bonds that you develop here are unreal. Like just through all of the difficult experiences that we have, starting with basic, right? Like my best friend to this day was my roommate in basic, and it's just like because of the situation almost, it brings people from different walks of life who you would probably never have sought out to be your friend, and you just figure it out, and next thing you know, like you can't live without that person. Like they are your go-to, your ride or die, and that's like such a unique thing to have and develop, so I'm very thankful for those people.
My advice to students that are considering a career in any branch of the military is when you feel like you found the job that you want, if you have the choice to choose it, do research on it. Make sure it's something that you really want to do and would like doing for 4, 6, maybe 20 years. And just take it one step at a time. Don't rush anything.
I think we get scared right before we're about to leave our comfort zone, but that's where all of the growth happens. And so you have to do it. You just got to put yourself in that situation and send it. And I promise you, like 90% of the time, you will not regret it. It has been like a model that I've lived by, and it still works for me to this day.
While today we honor all those who have served our country in the armed forces during war or peace, we take a moment to remember those men and women who have died and paid the ultimate sacrifice while fighting for our freedoms.
Dear veteran, thank you for serving in World War II, Vietnam, Korean, or any other war that you were in.
I'm lucky that I have freedom till this day because of you amazing soldiers. I appreciate all what you have done to protect our freedom. I don't know what you have been through, but I know you're so brave.
I can imagine that you do not see your family during your service, but you stood strong during your time.
Thank you for all you did for our country. I know all you had to sacrifice. You made our country a safe place for everyone to live.
You're so brave and I'm so proud of you. You're our hero. I'm so thankful that we can do sports and have freedom.
Thank you for serving our country. You are so brave and strong.
You are a hero and you have achieved an amazing goal. You are awesome and we will never ever forget you. Thank you. Sincerely, Alex.
If I could talk to a veteran, I would say thank you for fighting for freedom.
Thank you for ensuring the safety of my family and I.
Say thank you for putting your life forward to help the country be a better place.
Thank you because freedom means everything to me.
Thank you. As I grew, I learned to be more grateful of the chances younger generations have because of the people who fought.
Thank you so much for your service and for your sacrifices.
All of us here, thank you for your service. And thank you personally from me for protecting our way of life.
This is Terry Finger. He is my grandpa, and he was in the Air Force.
This was my great uncle, Robert Kilpatrick, and he was a Marine. This is my dad, Lucas Jacobson. He served the Army National Guard.
This is Robert Lucas. He's my grandpa, and he was in the U.S. Navy.